Oh, stop. The mic was off. The mic was off, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are present. If they give us, if this is roll call,
Crypto Warriors,
count us down.
Stack Nation, champions.
Yes.
Happy Monday morning.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Western Hemisphere and other areas of the world, tuning in to watch us.
Hey, we had someone from Germany tune in the other day.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
Like, what?
That was pretty dope.
We're going global.
That was sick as hell, man. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give it a few moments here to let a few people join, and then we'll get going. Actually, this actually gives me an idea that I was going to bring up. We should probably go live, maybe like 5 minutes before, so that once we get started, we can get started. But anyway, how was the weekend for you, sir?
We were killing it, making new arrangements for new products and services.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, proof of work, you have to provide value.
Yeah.
Right, and that's just what we're trying to do, man.
Yup.
To the wall. Before we get started here, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin currently trading at 21,000. Oh, am I even sharing my screen? I'm not sharing. Hang on. I'm sorry about this. I am lagging. I'm lagging. Here we go. Look, here we go. Let me just sweep that around. Bitcoin currently trading at $21,602. We saw that little bit of a move up there after that massive pullback.
Yeah, we had the 22K move over this weekend,
Yeah.
Saturday evening.
Exactly. But, looks like we'll be moving further down. We have not done some proper TA in a while.
We don't care about
promise.
TA no more, man. Right now, we just talk about adoption.
I know, but TA is an art, man. I miss it. I want to do some more TA.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, let's get back to the activity at hand here. We're talking about the SEC, and it seems a sudden war on crypto. Double O.
Yes, today we get to talk about the Security Exchange Commission, the chairman, Gary Gensler, and the war on crypto.
Right.
War on crypto.
The war on
Repeat
crypto.
that.
Well, it seems sudden. Before we get into it, let's say good morning to the people, man.
Yes.
We have Reverse 333 in the house. What a name.
333.
Reverse 333. What's up? What's up, champion?
Champion.
And let's see where that. What's up, peeps? What's up, brother? And of course, man, the king himself, man.
DK Crypto.
The man is in the house. The gunner,
Always.
bro. Come on.
Screen.
Boom. What's up, champion? And of course, El Debnam El. Oh, he says turn the volume up. Let's turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up.
I don't think it's. Oh yeah, actually, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might do it.
Yeah.
How's
Better
the volume now?
How's
Let
it
us know.
now? Yeah.
All right. We have El Demnam El in the house. Good morning, brother. One wall, one hood. This is true. Sorry. Oh, actually, he said turn up the volume. Here's what I said, turn up the volume.
It's a global village.
Exactly.
We believe you, man. One world, one hood.
Exactly. Well, let's jump right into this thing then. I think it was last week, right? We saw Gary Gensler decided to
Put a
come
Kraken
after- Yeah.
on Kraken.
He put an axe on Kraken. And it seems they're lining up more and coming for them.
Binance this morning, of course, going after Paxos.
Exactly. They claim that these people are,
Shitting around, man.
yeah,
Staking.
essentially offering securities without registering.
We've been telling y'all. We've been saying it.
Exactly.
Draconian regulations are coming. People are like, nah, man, those guys are just running them out. Well, it's here now.
Well, here's the thing, though. Is it draconian regulations, or are they just enforcing existing securities regulations on a new space?
We always know that the government is always behind. But someone like Gary Gensler knows better. Why don't we have a regulation yet? Why is it picking things apart?
Right, but that's the thing. I believe that what they're doing here is they're trying to take the crypto space and fit it into the current existing securities sector, if you will.
I'll add to that.
Right.
They want to take out the little guys The
Yeah.
middle, the middleman in the current crypto space, get rid of them and
Yeah.
put the big guys in there.
All right. Well, look. Let's look at some of the, because you have this article here, which I
Yeah.
thought was actually very interesting.
Before you go to the article, though, let's go to
Yes.
what get against Slides because people need to know what this guy is. It's the chairman. It's the one making all these decisions.
I
Now.
mean, if you don't know who Gary Gensler is, man, I think you have some studying to do.
Not
But
everybody
carry
knows,
on.
though.
Go for it.
You know, so
Yeah.
this is his biography on the Security
damn,
and
look at that
Exchange
picture,
website.
man. I've always wanted one of those.
Looking
with,
handsome
yeah,
with the American flag
yeah,
in the
like
back.
with the side. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I used to have one of those at the State Department.
Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, a quick view so that you guys can understand his mindset and the way he's thinking. Gary Gensler, of course, the current chairman. This guy's really smart. When you look at his background, you can see that, of course, he's an MIT graduate, economics and management, in the
Yeah.
Sloan School of Management. And guess what? It was the senior advisor to the MIT Media Lab Digital Currency Initiative. Remember, blockchain technology,
Yeah,
the technology itself came out of MIT.
true.
Government research, supported by government research, and the whole idea of trying to secure messages or articles so that it does not get changed. That was how blockchain already initially got started. So this guy understands cryptocurrencies. He understands the technology. So it's not a guy that does not understand, okay, how does this work? As a matter of fact, he used to teach a class on this, right?
That's true.
He was also involved in the banking takeover of the U.S. government. He was formerly the chairman of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission during the Obama administration. This is why Trump says, clear the swamp.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, it's part of the swamp, but it's still in the system.
It's part of this.
So no, bankers control the U.S. Literally, if you look further, this guy is an ex Goldman Sachs guy. So when we talk about his initiative, that's why you gotta start thinking. What is his background?
Right.
It's also an ex. I think he got his master's degree from Walton University.
Right.
Walton is what's his name? Warren Buffett's primary home
Of
when it
course.
comes to education. So you gotta think, okay, it's a guy that believes in the Chicago form of economics,
Right.
Chicago School of Economics. So you gotta understand, okay, why is he making decisions like this? Why is he going after crypto at this angle? You have to understand his background so to see where his actions are going.
This is true. Even though enforcement should really be a neutral thing, we do not put people into these offices to enforce things based on their personal interests. So it's always something to remember. But we can see that obviously that is not the case. The situation is all corrupt. Because when I look at the energy which they have when it comes to attacking the crypto space, they could have applied the same energy when it comes to all the fraudulent things that the stock market or people on Wall Street have been doing. But it seems that when it comes to that, there's a lot of leniency, which may come down to the same thing you're talking about, right? Who they represent, who they stand for, so on and so forth. So there is this research here from Cornerstone, which talks about, it just kind of is it's an overview of the SEC's enforcement or the trajectory of the enforcement so far. Right, I'm just going to read a bit of a brief here, and then we're going to look at the charts down here. And so it says this report analyzes the SEC enforcement activity from July 2013, when the SEC brought its first enforcement action, through 2021. During this span, the SEC has brought a total of 97 cryptocurrency-related litigations and administrative proceedings, 10 delinquent filing orders, and 20 trading suspension orders. And I think that it's counting. I think they're about to
Makes you
ratchet
think,
up these numbers.
right? Makes you think since 2013,
Yeah.
and you don't have a regulation by now.
Exactly.
What the hell are you doing?
But, well, I'll tell you why they don't have regulations, because it's profitable. Listen to this. As of the year 2021, the SEC has imposed approximately 2.35 billion in total monetary penalties against digital asset market participants.
It's a money-making business, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you could just hold up on these regulations for another, couple years and double that $2.35 billion. It
Oh,
seems he's doing his job.
the same SEC is the one charging Wells Fargo and all those Bank of America and those guys for their madness.
Yeah.
But they only charge them pennies, but they're going big after
I
crypto.
guess you know. Exactly. You know, one of the people I feel sorry for is Coinbase because these guys try to comply and so on and so forth. And they still got wrecked. Okay. So looking at this situation here, you can see just the amount of, you know, this one is the enforcement activities, right? And so we have 58 actions of litigation actions, 39 administrative proceedings, and this is as of this is between the space of 2013 and December of 2021, right? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so when I look at this chart, it's a pretty interesting PDF, by the way. I think
Yeah.
we should add it to the group, to the charts once we get a chance here.
Okay.
It tells you what the focus of the SEC is. They are saying that they want control, so
Right.
which is I find interesting. Like, oh, you gotta come and register. When you look at the number of registration fees or what you want to call allegations of you not registering your exchange,
Yeah.
the numbers are high. Failure to register as a broker or as an exchange is way up there, right? And then the fraudulent ones, it's at the bottom. But we have a lot more fraud going on in crypto
Yeah.
than we have the issue of registering as an exchange. So why are you not going after the fraud? The fraudulent allegations are way lower,
Right.
which I think should be higher. If you guys that are in the crypto space or that buy crypto or those other altcoins should know there's way too many crap out there.
Oh yeah, I mean there was I think it was like was it last summer or the summer before?
Yeah.
Rock pools were just rampant across the crypto space.
So-called farming or whatever they want to call it,
Exactly.
decentralized exchanges. So yeah, they are going after the middleman. The exchanges are the middleman. So it makes a lot of sense. They are tackling this thing right where it's weak because there's no way you're gonna get your hands on crypto without going through the exchanges. Although the initial definition of the blockchain, the initial definition of Bitcoin, not crypto, is that you can do this without the middleman. You don't need the middleman. So they're saying, okay, if you're gonna be the middleman, which basically is being a new set of banking,
Right.
being a new bank, you gotta come and register as a bank, which is what these guys are fighting against. It's like Binance want to be a bank now, Coinbase want to be a bank, so that eliminates the big banks,
The big banks. So
and the big banks are gonna use one of their tools, which is Gary Gensler, ex Goldman Sachs. Take this FS out. We don't need them in the space. We want to take over. So you see BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America buying crypto now. That's because they want to be the middleman. They need to kick out the small guys. That's just my analysis.
I think that's definitely definitely a strong perspective. I think for me, I just kind of still I just look at it and I try to stay on the side of focusing on Bitcoin because I think ultimately either way it goes, it is fine with me. They could you know for one thing that I agree with Gary Gensler, right? Because I think that at the end of the day, I try to at least tread a line because the idea of just throwing everything out of the window is not really a reasonable one. There has to be some sort of regulation in the crypto space. That is something I agree with. How they're going about it is seems to be a bit of an issue, right? For sure. But I think ultimately, if we can get to a point where we all agree what the regulations should be, then I think everyone can come in and register, except Gary Gensler. Apparently, according to Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, he states that Gensler says they should come in and register, but there is not a way to exactly register, right? Now, if we look at also just the basics of what, actually, before we carry on, let's look at if we have any comments there, because we're just on a roll here. BK Crypto says they pick and choose. This is
Yeah,
true.
they do. They do.
They do
Sure.
pick and choose, right? The Securities Act of 1933.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Yeah. So this is a list of the tools that the security exchanges are using, right? So
Right.
if they're going to be enforcing this in the crypto space, it's very, very important that they understand or they utilize a set of specific rules
Right.
that currently apply to securities, right? So as we were saying, the crypto, the blockchain technology, the space is moving faster than governance, but the governance does have existing rules or regulations that has to be followed.
Right.
So when we talk about why are they enforcing these rules, well, let's go look at what it is that they're enforcing. And here is a list of the laws that the
Yeah.
Security Exchange is using. We have the Securities Act of 1933,
Right.
Securities Exchange Act of 1934, Trust Indenture Act of 1939, Investment Company Act of 1940. So this article here explains basically all the rules that if you're going to be selling a security or what qualifies you to be a security, you have to follow. And as I read through all of these acts here, or these laws here, it's actually quite simple, which is true. If you're going to be selling something to somebody,
Right.
I need to know who it is that or who owns that product or that service, right? If you are telling the truth, if you're lying, if you're coming up with fake or false documents, if your product or service is really real or not, all right? You have to be transparent with your finances. You cannot make up fake numbers.
Right.
You cannot just print money out of thin air and then sell it back to people. So a lot of these laws are actually quite related. We can go over them if you want us to, if we have the time to.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we have enough time to, but I think that these are the basics of it,
Yep.
right? And what it says, and actually, I would like for you to answer that because BK Crypto says dinosaur rules. The Harvey test needs to change. But before we get to that, right, the Securities Act of 1934, just a brief of it. Essentially, what they're saying is that it requires that investors receive financial and other significant information concerning securities being offered for public sale, prohibit deceit, misinterpretations, and other fraud in sale of securities. I think it is safe to say that over the past years or so, or essentially everything that has been
All the
going on
altcoin-
in
a
the
lot of
crypto
altcoins,
space,
a lot
right,
of altcoins, man.
could qualify as deceit and misinterpretations,
Yep.
right? FTX, I don't know if we need to say more than that.
There's a lot of fake promises out there.
Exactly.
Promising you APY without.
Right? How they manage it and what sort of risk are you exposed to? Because I think ultimately, if people, if say if Bankman, he disclosed that, well, you give me your money and I'll take some of it and do whatever it is he was doing with it. Some people might go, I don't want to do that. Some people will still invest in it. That's the crazy thing about it, right? There's always someone who's
I mean,
ready to take on anything.
as Vitalik clarified or defined who all is backing him,
Yeah,
do we know what really is going on?
with Ethereum,
Yeah.
we don't know. I mean, and I think that's why again, this is why we need this sort of regulations in this space. Bigger Crypto says Harvey test needs to change. What are your thoughts on that?
So actually, in this article, it explains what our test is.
Yeah,
Right.
let's see. Where are we there?
It's way at the bottom of the article.
Okay.
You can Control F and search for our test real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say I'm on the pad. I can't control
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can put that up. Well, our test basically says that if you
Right.
like
I'll look for it while you're going.
for you to sell a product or a service, right?
Right.
How did that come about? First step, right? Who are the founders? Who are the owners?
Exactly.
Now, for me to sell it to you, right? Have I kept some of those shares for myself? Was that a pre-sale? Was that a pre-ownership? Right?
Yes.
It's kind of like IPO, ICO, or we founded STAKK, and we have 1 million shares of STAKK, but we decide to keep 700,000 of those shares for ourselves and make 300,000 a public offering.
Okay.
Right? I need to tell the world that I've kept 700 for myself, and I'm only selling 300,000. That has to be told to the public,
That seems fair.
right? And then I sell that 300,000 to you. That is basically automatic security.
Yes.
And that's what our test is saying, is that you create a product, even if it's out of thin air or some mathematical equations comes up with it.
Right.
But the moment that you kept some for yourself and then you sell some to the public, has to be clear, has to be transparent. You got to tell people.
Yeah.
So the people will know what they're buying into. And then now the financial aspect of what you use that money for on a daily basis, whether you used to go buy properties or used to go buy other altcoins or you use it to verify other transactions, I will test. Which is why going proof of stake automatically equals
Yeah. Well, I guess
security.
security. Yeah, exactly.
Because you keep some of those shares for yourself and then you use some of those shares to verify other transactions. Boom. That's how you get caught.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on here because we're almost running out of time. We are actually out of time. So there's a few things, right, that we're going to look at here. One of them is this boiling frog situation. It says Gary Gensler, the chief of cryptocurrency, Washington's chief cryptocurrency critic. I don't know if he's a critic, man. The guy's a soldier. He's just out here with the sword himself. Has long been fed up with what he views as the market's rule-breaking middlemen. Rule-breaking middlemen.
Is he fed up with the middleman or is he trying to bring the right middleman in the space? That's my question. Folks, when you read these articles, you gotta ask questions first because you can't. People pay to have these articles published,
Right.
so you just can't read it and just accept it. Try to read through the lines or read through, like, understand why is he trying to get rid of the middleman, because he himself is the master of middlemen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll be offering something. I also saw an article this morning where they're filing a suit against Paxos.
Paxos is a middleman.
Yeah, for stable coins. But we also know that these guys are going to be offering CBDCs. So clearing the path, right? I would say.
CBDCs clears the path for all middlemen because now at that point there will be no longer middlemen. It should just be draconian laws from the federal government straight down to you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's, again, this article just goes on and on about more of these enforcement actions that they've been taking here. One thing that when I look at everything that is happening right now, I have to ask myself, there was the situation. There's been multiple situations where Wall Street has misbehaved screwed up the investor, because as they do these things, the narrative is that it's a big win for investors.
That is what Elizabeth Warren says all the time.
Right.
His body or our body.
Exactly. But all things being fair, right? Despite how I may feel about crypto, Ethereum, or anything else like that, there's an angle to be looked at where everyone has the right to put their money in anything they want. If they want to throw it away, that is fine. If you want to invest in something that is not very clear, you should have that right. It's about your rights, right? So when they say that they're doing this for the investors, is that the case? I mean, you guys let me know in the comment. Is that something you feel like? Because I know some people were probably like, hey, we're staking our Ethereum, they're staking whatever, and they're making some profits. But then this guy comes through and does this.
If it was doing this for the investors,
it's a win?
Yeah, if it was doing this for the investors, why didn't they catch FTX before it blew up? Because it's been doing this since 2013.
Yeah, this is true.
And FTX still happened under is what is leadership.
Exactly.
Terra Luna happened under his leadership. And you say you're going after exchanges. You've had many opportunities to fix what the real problem is, but you're not fixing the real problem until after it happens, and then you're now using that as excuses to go after middlemen.
Right.
So we were in the stock market before we got into the crypto space and Bitcoin space, and I have to say, we saw what happened in the stock market space and the unfair treatment of retail investors by the same SEC. And is doing the same thing now in the crypto space. And my understanding is that the crypto is just the beginning. It's gonna find eventual ways to come at Bitcoin. This is just a strategy. This goes back to how he's trying to boil the frog slowly. This guy is up to something. It's the ex-Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs knows what they do. It's been implanted into the government. Bankers have taken over the government, and folks just don't know. It's that simple.
Yeah, that I think, and that's the other part that's also alarming to me. I just think at the end of the day, it's about self-education, just awareness. Because I think what bothers me more than the fact that everything that we're living in is really a scam, the fiat system is obviously a scam, the SEC, major scam, is the nonchalant response by everybody else, the general public, if you will. And I get it. Sometimes it's just due to the lack of information. It is what it is.
People gotta self-educate.
That is gonna.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's where the urgency is for me. Just making people aware and getting people to understand that it is important to pay attention to these things, and you know, take action is the biggest thing. Yeah.
We're taking action by doing these videos, fellows. We're trying to tell you guys that I think some self education, some self knowledge, instead of just watching TV and just outright understanding or accepting or believing whatever it is that they're telling you,
Yeah.
it's not good for you. Try to read a little bit more and understand what's going on, because it's through our readings that we are also finding this out. I didn't know this a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. But the moment I started reading, I was like, what the hell? What's going on around us? And that's why we're out here trying to get the word out to you guys.
Exactly.
There's a lot wrong with our government. There's a lot wrong with our financial systems, and we, the citizens of the United States, need to start questioning and start putting the right people in government.
This is true.
It's that simple.
Well, double up. They say timeliness is close to godliness, and personally, I want to go to heaven. We're 5 minutes over, so let's wrap this up. We'll read some comments, and then we out. BK Crypto says this is just another way to keep us out, and I agree with that. This is what they do, and this is the thing. These people think that society is really stupid. We see the same thing happening in Nigeria.
Yep,
Last week we
right now.
spoke about them trying to push CBDCs on everyone. If you see right now, there are riots in Nigeria over that same thing. The Sergeant Crypto says this is highly unethical. Oh yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Extremely unethical, corrupted. It goes to show you how stupid they think we are. What was I just saying? Look at that. However, there are some dumb people out there, bruh. Nappy ways, man. We're on the same wavelength then, sir. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Since Gary Gensler has been activated, man, activated to the max.
To
Ladies
the
and
max.
gentlemen. Yeah, and he's coming after them. I will say this, man. I am kind of nonchalant about this situation because at the end of the day, all of these things are a distraction to Bitcoin. So if he's fighting our war and then the people realize that, because at the end of the day, they're also promoting Bitcoin. It's sort of like in Nigeria, right? They're pushing these CBDCs. They limited withdrawals to $45. What are people turning to now? Bitcoin to transact. Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on, of course, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Gentleman of Crypto channel as well, Stack. Follow us on Twitter, StackFin. Oh, you guys are going to like this one. We got banned on Instagram for talking about the oppressive stuff going on in Nigeria. Or maybe it's just because they did not tell us exactly why they banned us, right? So we're allowed to speculate.
The
And
banks.
yes.
Because we've been talking about CBDCs and banks
Exactly.
like crazy.
So we'll speculate to the moon on that one. Let's wrap it up. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Brazen out.
Double up. How?
Hey.